Hello everyone and welcome to round 5 of WOR. We're coming into this race with a 12-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. So we're of course looking to extend that going forward. To do that, we're going to need to have a successful qualifying and a successful race. Obvious statement, I know. But yeah, Bahrain's an interesting track for me. Not one of my favourites, to be honest. It's something that doesn't really overly suit my driving style. It's a lot of stop and start and managing traction, whereas I like to have a bit more flowy of a driving style. But we do have a wheel glitch immediately. So you can see just briefly there, if you press the replay as well and flash back on the video, the wheel just turns left by itself. I had this in F1 Esports, of course, the DNF as well in Mexico. So yeah, not optimal. We invalidated the end of a lap as well, so combined with the glitch of what happened with the wheel and invalidating the first lap got thrown in the bin, what means we're P20 going into the final lap here in Q1, and we are going to need to put the lap together to go through into Q2. So that being said, we have a bit of a snap in the braking in turn 1. So easy to lock the rears and so easy to lock the fronts if you push the brake bias more forward in the turn 1. So it's a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But as we start to end the first sector, not really pushing a 100% to the limit, taking it a little bit conservatively because I was confident with my pace that I could go through Q1 relatively easily. And only a major mistake would stop me from doing so. So it's all about just being smooth, precise, calm, and as well elegant with our inputs to the maximum degree as we head through the second sector now, picking up a good traction, a good rotation, as you can't see on the top right of the screen, because I think there's a glitch at the moment, that the delta is not there, but you can see on the steering wheel at the bottom of the screen, we are just under now, just over a tenth up, coming to the end of the second sector split, and we do a 4.972, what is easily going to be enough to put us through into Q2, providing that we don't make a mistake in the final apex of the lap. Even so, we gain more time and we're able to hook it up. Of course, we went wide the previous lap, so we're going to end the lap just under 2 tenths up on our delta and puts us provisionally P2, what was very nice. And the first lap in Q2 on our worn set of tyres, we went fastest by over a tenth actually. So that was a very successful lap as well. So at the start of our first new tyre run here in Q2, we got held up by a bit of traffic just before starting the lap, so we dropped on the tyre temperatures compared to where ideally I would like to be. So now we're going to have to deal with that, and ideally we want to get through Q2 with only one set of soft tyres here, purely because I used 2 sets in Q1. So into turn 1, critical to nail it, but we don't. You can see we lock up the rears and have to hesitate on the turn in when we went wide and did not pick up a good exit, what has cost us about a tenth and a half, 2 tenths already, and it's only been 2 apexes of the lap into turn 4, and we're going to have to absolutely nail the rest of this lap, and a 28-0 in the first sector, and we're going to have to come back stronger in the second sector, and we are doing that so far, picking up good rotation, and now into the double left-hander. Easy to run right here, but we're able to pick up a good rotation again, a good traction, so the lap is looking successful, minusing turn 1 and turn 2 of course, and into the left-hander, up the hill in 5th gear, nibble the curb on the inside, attack the curb on the exit, and now the rest of this middle sector has been flowing nicely into the final sector here. You can see we do a 0.4847 in the middle sector split, what is pretty decent, and now into the final sector. Time to absolutely send it and nail it through the final apex, and we do that. That is pretty much spot on for where we need to be, and cross the line, and we go provisionally P2.
Yeah, I have no tyre temp in turn 1.
You hear my live reaction to say that I don't have tyre temp in turn 1, and that is going to be enough to be putting us through Q2 with 1 set of tyres. So even while losing a tenth and a half in the first corner, we're able to get through and now have 2 sets of brand new soft tyres here available for Q3. The first set is pretty much going to go in the bin though, because we get unlucky with a curb and have a big slide through the high speed chicane. chicane that is pretty much ending our middle sector split already, just simply because it puts out of position, overheated the tyres, and just cost us a lot of lap time. In the final corner of the first run here in Q3, running up to the line, what can we do? It is going to be a 9-6-4.
It had a fat oversteer.
You can hear my live reaction. I had a fat oversteer, and now this is the final lap in qualifying, and absolutely pivotal to get this all together. In turn 1, let the car rotate, a bit of a snap on the rear axle when braking, a little bit of wheel spin on the exit, but has been overall pretty successful as now we run up the hill into turn 4, up on the delta, and we don't really carry all the minimum speed into the apex, but it was pretty okay. But now we have to be a bit cautious because of the time we lost on this corner last lap, because we can't send it, we can't risk everything, because we need to get this lap together, and a bit of an under rotation on the front axle in the braking zone. Nevertheless though, it's been halfway successful so far in this lap and is on course for a decent 0.7. And now you can see we got Jake Benham up ahead. Was going to do something pretty strange, to be honest. Not really too sure what happened, but it was a massive distraction nevertheless. You can see he just drives straight into the wall. Well, yeah, was not good for my focus level, to be honest. So now you can see at the top of the screen, Jake Benham has crashed out the session. So now I'm pretty confused of what's happened there, if I've desynced or something anyway. So now we have to try and get our focus back together for the final apex of the lap and try to hook up in the best way possible. And that was pretty sweet throughout there. Running up to the line, what's it going to be? It is going to be a low 0.8. What should have been, to be honest, a mid-7, a low 7. But the lap was messy. But either way, we are going to be P5 on the grid. And we are going to be starting on the hard compound tyres. Lights out, and away we go. And we do get a very good start overall, as well as able to make up a bit of ground on the cars ahead into the slipstream, darting to the outside, around the outside. Brave on the brakes here. It's a bit vulnerable being on the outside line here in turn 1 Bahrain lap 1. But nevertheless, we're able to get the position and put ourselves up into P4. Of course, Jarno Opmeer is our championship rival here in WOR, and we are going to be looking to try and beat him in this race to extend the championship lead. So into lap 1, second sector, and it's all about getting into a flow right now. I'm not really willing to risk that much with getting too close to the cars ahead, because I would have to waste so much battery getting a move done. That it's just not worth staying that close to them in this moment in time. It's better to save a bit of the battery, save a bit of the tyres, and to see how the first stint can start to unfold, and who's fast, who's slow, and then we can start to build an image there for the rest of the race to maximise our potential going forward.
Okay.
So the running order right now is Thomas Ronha, Jarno Opmeer, Ismail Fassi, me, Isfan Pookie, Jake Benham. And that is all we can see for the moment. And yeah, so the first lap, pretty successful, able to gain a place, and now running in clear vision of the race leaders here in the Bahrain GP. Around the final corner, and now you're going to see we're going to be skipping on to lap 3, and you can see the DRS games have already began, and people are swapping and changing and playing high-speed chess to try and maximize their race potential. You can see all over the back of Thomas in the final apex of the lap, and now we're going to try and make something happen. We don't want to be P4 anymore. You can see Jarno has not got the DRS. We're going to go up the inside into turn 1, deep on the brakes, but hard to be on the inside line here when you're side by side on the exit again. A bit of wheel banging, but that's what we love in racing. Nice and close, and now you can see using a bit of battery up the hill in the slipstream of Jarno. Jarno wisely chooses the outside line. It's pretty difficult on the inside line here because you're a bit tight and squeezed to the inside, and now Jarno is able to retain the position around the outside of turn 4. So we're going to be falling back into place, making sure we're not under threat from Pookie, but we're going to go on the attack around the outside of Jarno, try to make a sniff of opportunity, but nothing able to do there. We did get an invalidation as well, it wasn't optimal, and now you can see lap 5, faking a move against Jarno. I want to get a bit of a move on. I want to apply a bit of pressure. I want to move forward in this race. I really feel strong in my pace in this race as well, especially in this early phase of the stint. You can see looking around the outside, but not going to go into a closing gap because of inevitably that gap was always going to close from how far behind I was. Lap 7, lap 8, we're not hanging around anymore. We're using the battery all over the back of Jarno in the straight. You can see we're going to be fully wide, almost into the braking zone. You can see Ismail Fassi darts around the outside. We actually make a little bit of contact with him. Now we're 3 wide on the exit, but we have got the move done. We went from P4 to P2 in that straight, giving Thomas Runhar, our teammate, a bit of slipstream down the straight to help him along. But yes, from P4 to P2, and that has brought our race alive here today, and that's going to give us so many more options with strategy as we go forward. And yeah, a bit of contact with Ismail, but nothing serious, and was able to get away with it as well. So now we are in a very nice position. Need to recharge the battery a little bit, and you can see that we're doing that here on lap 10. Not overtaking Ismail, but you can see we go a bit defensive on the brake, but now we're 3 wide in turn 1. Had to leave the space for Thomas, had to try and leave the space for Jarno as well. And yeah, that was a bit nervy. Went from trying just to save the battery to suddenly being 3 wide, so we was able to retain the position pretty well. And yeah, I wasn't willing to risk that again. So the very next lap, I overtook Ismail, as I don't want to repeat that situation in turn 1. But yeah, able to get back up to 80% on the battery, so we're looking very strong there. Yellow flags, and you can see on the bottom left of the screen, cars have started to fall away from the DRS train, so clearly there was a few collisions here and there. But now P1 and P2 for Sauber, because now Thomas is in P1, of course I'm in P2, and we're able to swap on the DRS a little bit here on lap 14 and use each other's teamwork to push forward in this race. You can see now in turn 1 we're starting to approach the pit window, so it's going to be really pivotal on what we can do going forward. What are we thinking with strategy? And you can actually hear me asking, what are we thinking on strategy right there? And now lap 15, you can see the pit window is now open. That's not actually true. I just set the strategy wrong inside of the game before the pre-race. Now we're 3 wide in turn 1. Once again, we have to leave the space on the inside and hang the car around the outside, and we're able to retain the race lead doing so. I don't think Ismail's going to want to overtake going up the hill either, so we're able to keep the race lead here on lap 15. Lap 17, Ismail goes past, but we want to try and defend from Jarno and not let him pass, as we do not want to be the 3rd car in the train at this point in the stint, and we're able to do that as there's a bit of maybe contact behind I didn't quite see, but now we're in a strong position, pretty high on the battery. You can see just using a little bit more to ensure Jarno can't get a run on us. Lap 18 here, and we're going to fake going into the pit lane as we didn't want other people to box on this lap. We wanted to keep everyone out as much as possible to help our strategy, so did a little dart to the inside to try and fake some people, basically to make people go towards our strategy a little bit more. What seemed maybe to work, maybe it didn't work, maybe it didn't do anything, but either way, we're going to be coming into the pit lane.
Remind me of the entry line
on this lap. You can ask me, you can hear me asking my engineer to remind me of the pit entry line, because it's quite difficult to see, because there's not really a board, so you're braking from such a high speed down, and you can see we just about get it done by 4 miles an hour. And yeah, this has been a successful stint on lap 20 now, going on to the soft compound tyres. Only me and Ismail have boxed on this lap. A bit of a drink in the pit lane, a very big drink actually, very much a lot of gulps. Oh my god. Yeah, I was really tired before this race. The day before, I was in Switzerland, and I woke up at 3 AM and got home at 10:30 PM. So yeah, it was a bit of an intense day yesterday, so I was very tired on race day. So nice bit of a drink in the pit lane to keep us going. But now this is going to be critical on our outlap here to try and extend the gap as much as possible to the people who did not box, as this is quite a unique situation. We've got me, Ismail, and Tamas going in a line at the moment, and you're going to see the gap is way bigger than I ever expected it to be, and they still haven't came out the pit lane yet. And you can see that Jarno Opmeer is 2.8 seconds behind, even before he's lost time from having to do a tighter turn 1 because of the pit exit. And now he's 3.2 seconds behind. You can see me weaving and flashing a DRS to Ismail and Tamas behind me as well, because I'm saying, like, guys, we can easily finish 1, 2, and 3 in this race right now and fight it out later. And I think Ismail was on the same book as me, same page as me, I should say. Tamas was falling away because of battery. But yeah, me and Ismail were on the same page in this stint that we decided to work together to pull away from the cars behind. So then we're basically guaranteed a P1 or P2 in this race, and we can fight it out later, rather than slowing each other down and bringing more cars into the picture.
Yeah, I don't want to play games with Ismail right now. I just want to get to a point, if it can be a 1v1 would be great.
Yeah, you can hear me even say, like, I just want this race to be a 1v1. I don't want to fight. I don't want to bring other cars that have fresher tyres.
I'm more focused to extending the championship lead than a singular victory.
Yeah, you can hear me saying I'm more focused to extending the championship lead.
So I'm not really interested to slow down on this lap to play chicken.
Yeah, so I knew that Ismail's engineers would be listening to this. Well, I thought they would be anyway. Probably they were. So I was basically just saying, yeah, I don't want to play chicken. I just want to try and secure this. I want to go for the win, of course, but I don't want to play stupid games that might put the P2 at risk.
In the battery piece.
So now going into the final lap here, I'm looking to try and extend the championship lead to Jarno as my priority. And then if we can win it as well, that'd be great. But looking to secure and bag some more consistent points and take home my 7th podium in 8 races on F1 24. You can see running up the hill, not using battery here, trying to get Ismail to use his battery a little bit more, but he smartly doesn't defend into the right-hander all over the back of him. Our rear tyres are really going to be struggling at this point. But yeah, as I said, key priority is get the podium, extend the points to Jarno in the Drivers' Championship. Like this, we would have a 15-point championship lead going into next race. So this is very healthy, very solid, and we can continue to build upon the successes and into the standard. Ismail goes a bit wide. You can see now we've got a lot of battery, but not a lot of rear tires left. And now using a little bit of overtake, but not using too much as we're going to run up the hill. But this is where it's going to go a bit south and is not going to be optimal. You can see all over the back of him, we're using overtake button up the hill to try and get closer to him, but we use too much inside curve. Big snap of oversteer, and that is going to be costly. Our rear tires have overheated, and now we can't get back on the traction. A big snap again, and yeah, you hear me say GG straight away because we fall too far behind. But yeah, of course, a lesson to learn with that curbing was not optimal. Would have been nice to win the race, but as I said,
extending the championship lead again
was to extend the championship lead. And yeah, so yeah, like I say, the key point was to extend the championship lead. So I'm still very happy with P2 in this race to extend the championship lead to 15 points compared to Jarno. And as I said earlier in the lap, 7 podiums out of 8 races on F1 24 right now. So very healthy, very solid, very consistent, and yeah, building up into really good form ahead of F1 sim racing. So yeah, feeling good, feeling happy. And going to be going into the next load of races. I had a really busy last 4 weeks, to be honest. I did 4 countries in 4 weeks, starting off in Germany, then to Netherlands, then to Norway, and then to Switzerland, what I came back from on the Saturday night. So now I'm back. I'm actually going to be at home for like hopefully a month, hopefully, and then yeah, I can start building more content again. I plan to do some more live streaming, some more tutorials, how to master tracks, blah blah blah, and go back into a YouTube flow again. So yeah, I'm excited for that. So apologies for being a bit inconsistent, but that's life, to be honest, and how busy it can be sometimes. So yes, I look forward to more content. Hopefully you do as well. And I look forward to seeing people interacting and commenting and trying to build the community as strong as possible. With that being said, glad to see. And I've been Brendon Leigh, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.